It was a single thought that made me leave behind everything that I had accomplished and accumulated in Los Angeles. I'm Colin Wright, and you are watching Consider This. This thought, this lifestyle-destroying thought, was this: I have exactly one life in which to do everything I'll ever do. That's it, one life. Every second that I spend doing something that is not fulfilling to me, that is not what I'd like to be doing with my time, is a second I will never get back. And at this point in my life, I was fixated. I was focusing all of my time on making money and accruing that type of wealth. And what I was doing to accrue this wealth was giving up my time. And that's the contract that most of us enter, whether we think about it in those terms or not, when we go to school and then start working. We start in the real world, in the adult world. But what they fail to tell you in this contract, what's in the terms and conditions probably that nobody reads, is that what you're actually agreeing to in a lot of cases is to give up your 20s, and then your 30s, and then your 40s, maybe your 50s, in exchange for money that then you will struggle to spend, or you will use to buy things that don't actually fulfill you, not in the same way that your time could. And that this is time you'll never get back. Like there seems to be this conception that someday I'll retire and then I'll go live. But in deciding to play a role in this system and to participate in this system, you are essentially saying, I'm going to give up my youth. My youth is something that I will exchange for potential comfort later in life. And there was a time and place when this actually worked, when this was a promise, when this was the American dream that you work for X amount of time and you will then be able to relax for X amount of time. It doesn't exactly work that way anymore, but I would argue that from the beginning, this is a system that was very much in opposition to living one's most ideal life. It's a difficult thought, isn't it? The idea that every second that we spend doing something we don't want to be doing, something that doesn't fulfill us, something that we don't believe in, is a second lost forever. We can always make more money. Money is a renewable resource. There's always ways to make it, whether that means going to work for somebody else or coming up with ways to generate your own income outside of a paycheck system. But time, that's not the case. Time is finite, and it's more finite for some of us than others, despite the fact that it's more risky in some cases, or at least can be perceived to be more risky to go on my own and try to start my own thing using my own standards of success, which include more time for myself and the ability to pursue things that I actually care about. The idea that at any moment of any day, if I died, I would die doing exactly what I want to do, sustains me. And it's a powerful thought, the idea that you can live your life in such a way that if you were to die, you would die doing something that meant something to you. That you could look back at your life and say, yes, I spent my time in such a way that I can be proud of what I accomplished and what I did, even if that time was being wasted in some ways, in that it wasn't generating revenue. It was time well spent. It was time spent for the cause of you. So none of this is new information. This is all incredibly obvious stuff. But to put it in those terms, to think of it in this way, really puts in perspective how urgent this is, how urgent it is that we need to address it, to either acknowledge that we are making this exchange, very consciously exchanging time, something that we'll never get more of, for money, or making the choice to extract ourselves from this in some way, or at least build a path towards extracting ourselves from this, so that we can take more of our time back and have more of our time with which to do whatever we choose. The funny thing is, we are all born with possession of all of our time. We own it. This is something that we choose to give up over the course of our life. And yet somehow we've come to believe that it's the natural state of things to have to reclaim it over the course of our lives. To someday, after we've lived 5 or 6 decades on this planet, to maybe have the opportunity to reclaim this thing that we were born with. This thing that was slowly but surely and covertly taken from us over the course of years, and usually at a very unfavorable exchange rate. I'm certainly not saying that work is bad, or that working for a paycheck is bad, or even that working like a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 8 to 7 is bad. If you're enjoying doing the work, or if you find that the exchange rate that you're being offered is good, that's excellent. There's no right or wrong way to do this. What I am saying is that it's important to recognize the way that things operate, what you are giving up and in exchange for what, so that you can make the most informed decision possible about how to spend your time. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be very much appreciated. You can also follow me, subscribe to my channel, and you will see all future videos as they roll out. You can follow me elsewhere at Colin is my name, and you can find out more about me and my books and other work at colin.io.